Okay, now let's talk about the style sheets in our web pages. Now we'll discuss what is the use of these style sheets. Okay, all these things we'll discuss now. Let us have an example before we discuss about this more about the style sheets part. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to use an editor called Visual Studio Code. I'm going to use this for typing of my web pages. Right? Okay, for designing my web page, I'm going to use a software what I call Visual Studio Code. Uh, the idea behind why we are going to use a Visual Studio Code is, so Visual Studio Code gives me much better facilities compared to the others. Like if I can also use the notepad, also can be used for typing, but in notepad we don't have the facilities are not there for us in the notepad. Now when you talk about what are the facilities that we are talking about, like for example you when you're typing in, so especially in case of the Visual Studio Code, what happens is when I'm typing my code, automatically what it does is it's going to give me the auto completion features will be there for me, so which is going to be much better for us when you are going to work. Okay, so I will take one small example. I'll take, let us say I'm starting a new program now. So I'm going to save this one as my HTML page. I'll save. I'll give it a c2.html. I'm giving a file name. It's already there. Hari Krishna, don't unmute yourself. Okay, fine. Let us, when you talk about this one, like for example, I'm using exclamatory mark I'm using, and when I'm pressing the tab key, you see that auto completion is going. What is the necessary tags that are necessary for me? Like what are the default tags that I need to do? The what you call the head section, HTML, the body section that is automatically defined for me. You can make the necessary changes. Like for example, I want to change the title of my document. You can change the document title can be changed. That the web page title can be changed. Okay, let us say that I'm writing it's my CSS. Okay, title I'm writing it as CSS there. Now in the body part, now okay, let us talk about this one. Like for example, I'm using a paragraph called P tag I'm typing. As soon as I type the P tag there, the closing tag is automatically given by the Visual Studio Code for me. Now my ID, my software, what I'm using, the Visual Studio Code, it's automatically completing me that one. Okay, that. So whereas if let us say if I'm going to use something like Notepad, I'm using in, I'm opening Notepad. So when I'm using Notepad, so there, so if I'm typing the tag there, P tag I'm typing, I need to type the opening tag and closing tag, both I have to type it. So whereas when you talk about the specialists like Visual Studio Code, they will automatically help you in the autocomplete options will be given for you. So that is the advantage. So we'll be moving with the Visual Studio Code only. Will not go with the Notepad, the simple editors like Notepad. If you're not having a Visual Studio Code, you can also use a Notepad. Also can be used or Notepad plus plus or some other editors like Edit plus plus. All these different types of editors can also be used. Okay. So other editors can be used, but my preference is Visual Studio Code. Not necessary that you also have to use the Visual Studio Code. You can also use other editors can be used. Like for example, if you're having Eclipse or some other editor is there in your system, you can use that editors can be made use of. Okay. So I'm talking about the advantages of my Visual Studio Code now. Okay. Now let us say that now we'll understand now we are going to use why we are going to use what you call the CSS. So CSS is nothing but what you call it's a cascading style sheets we call. As the name says, it is going to talk about the styling of your HTML pages or what you call the style sheets, right? The styling we talk about. The basic thing is it's a styling part. For example, let us say that okay, by using this H1 I mean paragraph tag. So what I'm doing is I'm giving a message. Okay, so, okay, I'm giving a message called hello huddle rise. I'm giving a message, right? I'm giving a message called hello huddle rise. I'm giving a message. Now this message, when I'm displaying it, so let me use this. Let me show you how the output comes for me. I'll save this one. Then to see the output of the page, I'm opening a browser. I'm opening it. So like I'm using a browser called the Chrome browser. I'm opening the browser. Chrome, I'm opening it. So once you open the browser, now you can use an option called Control plus O can be used to open the main it will open, it will give you the open dialog box it gives me. So where you can select your file, where exactly the file is present and all. Okay, I have saved my file in the D drive. So there we have one folder called HTML. Now I'll go to the folder called HTML. There I give my program name as c2.html. I'm just opening that. Now you see that the output is going to be shown for me. So this is one way how you are going to see the output of your HTML page. Yeah. So once you see the output, now here what happens? So whenever, like for example, I'm using the paragraph tag, again I'm using the paragraph tag here. So let us say one more paragraph tag we are writing. So here what I'm doing, so I'm writing it as Martha Halli. Okay. So then let us say I'm writing Bangalore. I'm writing Bangalore. Okay, saved it. Now, okay, let's refresh the page. So when I refresh it, or you can use Control plus R can be used, or you can use F5 function key can be used to refresh your page. So once I refresh, whatever the changes I've made, what are the things that I've added, that you will see it here on screen. Now, let us say I want to change the color now. I want to change the color of the huddle rice. So when I want to change the color of the huddle rice, one method what we can do is I'll have a tag called font tag. I'm going to use it. I'm using a tag called the font tag I'm using. In font, I'll be giving the option called color. So color is equal to red. I'm giving it. Okay. Then, so I want the red color to be applied only for the huddle rice. Now you open the font tag there and close the font tag. So for what you want to apply the color, so before that you open the font tag and then you give the color equal to red and then close the font tag where you want that option to be applied only to particular tag for me. I just closed it. Then I'm coming back to my browser. Now you see that when I'm refreshing my browser, whatever the changes that I've done in my HTML document, so that I'm able to see it here, right? I see that the red color is going to be here. Okay. Now, like this, whenever you want the options to be applied, like, okay, so where you want to have the changes, let's say you want to change, so the color for one tag you want to apply it, you can change the color. So if you with another tag you want to change the color, you can apply the color. Now, instead of writing this method, so when I want some styling has to be done, but this is what I call it as a styling part. Okay. And let us say I want to have a different font, I want to use it. So we'll be using an option called font face, we'll be using it, right? Okay, instead of going into this one, like you want to have it again a small change in the font, you want to have it, you can define the font change and all this. Now, instead of doing this method, we have an alternate method is there. So what I do is, I do one thing. I just copy down this part, this stuff. I'm just copying it. Okay, I'll just go to this. I'll be sharing the information, whatever I'm typing it, all the things, whatever I'm doing it, everything I'll share with you. Okay, so nothing to worry about. Okay, we'll share everything. I'll be sharing everything with you. So I have created a Google Classroom. I have created, and then we will be adding you to the Google Classroom. Whatever the class notes and everything I'm explaining, you'll be getting the notification from the Google Class itself. Okay, right? What's the date today? 8. Okay. Uh, Excuse me because there are a lot of disturbance in the background for me. So I think you feel the background noise. Sorry for that. Okay. So this is how I have applied my styling. I have applied it. So by using the HTML. No, I don't want to follow this method. I don't want to follow it. We have an alternate method for this. So what is the alternate method for this? Okay. We have an alternate. So we have the alternate method. So what is that alternate method? So I can make use of something called CSS. What do you call them as? Cascading style sheets. You call it a cascading style sheets. Now, how do I apply the cascading style sheets for a particular thing? Then we'll follow certain syntax, we call it as what you call the certain rule you'll be following it. So what is the rule that we follow is we use an attribute called style. We'll be using it. So we'll use style. Okay, and then we say style is equal to what is the property that you want to change. Okay, we'll say it's a property colon, you'll be giving a value for it. Then so okay, in case if you're having only one property you want to change it, this is how you do it. If you have multiple properties are there, right? So to change, or what you call to apply, okay, to change the multiple values, okay, or the multiple styles you want to, multiple properties you want to change, then the same thing will be using it. But in addition to this, when I'm having multiple properties, we'll use a semicolon. Then I'll write a shortcut there. Property 2 I'll be writing, colon value will be writing it. Semicolon property 3 colon value. Like this will be writing it. Right? The basic thing you need to understand. Okay, I'll explain it. We'll take one example. So I'll go back to my C2 there, C2.class, in HTML file, I'm going there. Now here, I want to apply the color for this paragraph tag I want to apply. So instead of using this method, the font, instead of using the font tag, now we'll be using an attribute, what you call style attribute. Okay, style is equal to, so I want to apply the font color. Okay, so then I'll be writing font. Sorry. So colon colon red and, so I'm writing font, I mean style is equal to color colon red I'm doing it. I'll just save this. Now I'll refresh the page. Now you see that again it's going to apply the red color here for this. Now you're able to understand now what I'm telling. So the one method is instead of using the font tag, okay, so I'll just compare it here. So instead of using, what we did is first we use the font tag like this. Instead of using this method, I'm now applying the CSS methods here. Okay, so this is the CSS method we are writing. Okay, we have an alternate method. This is the, okay, without CSS, this is how you write it. Then using the CSS, what I'm doing is I'm using the option like this. So when I want to apply for multiple, then what we are doing, we are using style property colon value. Okay, maybe you call this one as property 1. Then this is my property 1. Okay, value 1. Now what is this property, what we are talking about? Now here, if you look in there, what you are writing here, right? The color what you are writing here. So this is called the property, right? Now this colon what you are writing here, red, right? So this is called the value. Okay, everyone understand? This is the syntax. Now this is how we are going to define the style part for us, right? Style is equal to property, that is color, and then value is going to be red for us. We understood the syntax there. So this is how we are going to use it. Now in case if I'm using one more property I want to change, that what you call this part what you are talking about. Like for example, let us say you want to have the uh, font style you want to have it. Like for example, font name you want to change it. So timing, what I do is, okay, we'll use the font name we'll use. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, I want to have one more option I want to have it. So what I'm doing, instead of writing just font color I'm writing, now what I'm doing, I want to have the font family. Okay, I'll be writing font hyphen family I'm writing. Okay, I'm writing the font family, right? Colon. So right, I'll be writing the font name. So I'll be using a font name like Tahoma, I'm writing a font name. Understood? No? So what I'm doing, font hyphen family colon Tahoma I'm writing. That's the name of the font. I'll save this. I'll come back to the browser. Alt tab I'm using it to go back to the browser. There in the browser, I'll give using a refresh now. So you see a slight difference is going to be there in the font. You can see this font and this font. There is a slight difference is going to be there. No, okay. Let's say I want to have the differences. I want to see it much better. So what I do is I'll be using and font family. I'll be using it. So what you call it as webdings. I'll be using a font family. Sorry. So I want to use a font family. Okay, I'll use some other color. I'll use the color called green. I'm using it. So font family, to understand much better how the fonts and all, I'll be using a font called Webdings. Okay, I'm using a font called Webdings. Now you see that the font is going to be different. Now you see that it's going to show me some symbols. It's going to show me. Okay, so this is what we are talking about, the font called a Webdings there. So only why I'm using the font Webdings means only to have the understanding how the font is going to be applied for me, what different styles you're going to have it. So Webdings is one name of the font. Understood now what I'm telling here? So I want to apply a different font now for this one. So let us say that we have something font called Vardena. I'm having it. But actually, when you look in there, when I'm typing Vardena there, so automatically it's giving me the list of fonts there. The list of font what you're seeing here. Okay. Uh, sure. So when I'm giving the Vardena there, it is going to show me the list of font here. I'm selecting this, the list of font, this, what the list of font you're giving, no, this is called a font stack, it is called, right? So this, what we are going to have here, this is called the font stack. So what do you mean font stack means? Font stack means nothing but you're going to specify more than one font you're going to specify. Now, what is an advantage for me of specifying more than one font means? It depends upon what system you're going to use it. Okay, in some machines, Vardena font will be there, and some machines, Geneva font will be there. In some other machine, the Homa font would have been installed. Or if let us say that in some machine, these three are not installed. Okay, they are not available. Okay, then what will happen? It will be automatically taking this font, what you call sans serif. It will be taking it. Understood what is the use of the font stack there? So when I'm using this font stack, so the basic advantage of using the font stack is what? If this font is available for me on my machine, it will be using this font. Now let us say if this font is not available on your machine, then it will be displaying the data or the text what you are going to give it, that will be displayed using this font. Okay, if this font is also not used, then it will be using this font for me. Okay, so like this what will happen is, if one font is not available, then automatically it will be taking the second font, it will be taking it. If none of these fonts are not there, it will be taking the default font for me, then like Times New Roman, it will be taking it for you. Okay, so this is what the advantage of defining what you call the font stack for us. Okay, understood now what is the advantage of having the font stack? If one font is not available, automatically it will be taking the data from the second font like this. So it will be taking the data from the next fonts it is going to take. Okay, like this. If any of these fonts are not there, then it will be taking the default fonts like Times New Roman, like that. Understood? Okay. Yeah. You can specify the colors, whatever this, right? Okay. So this is how you are going to find that. Okay, this is what we call, what you're writing there, style followed with something. No, this is called the CSS. We call it. It's called the style cascading style sheet. It is called there. Understood what exactly the style sheet is? Now here, when I'm talking about my style sheets, we have different types of style sheets are there for me. So we have the different types. So what are the different types of style sheets we have is, one is we call it as internal style sheet. Okay, let me talk about first inline. So one is called the inline style sheet. Okay, so first is called the inline style sheet. Then second is called internal style sheet. Okay, this is internal style sheet for me. We have one more style sheet is there. Also different types of me from me. Okay, so other one is called external style sheet. Right. We had three different types of style sheeting is there. So what are these three different types of style sheets means? One is called the inline for me. So what is this inline means? So you are going to specify the style. Okay, style is specified along the HTML tag. Okay, what is the HTML tag we are using it? Along that I'm giving it. That is in this, I mean along the HTML tag, it's going to be embedded for me. Okay, so I'm just embedding that. So it is going to be placed. For example, this one. So what I am writing style is equal to, I will take this example. I'm writing style is equal to something, right? So this is the example for the embedded style sheet. Okay, that is your inline. So along the HTML tag, you're going to define that one. It's what you call the inline style sheets, we call it. There is also another method of doing it. Okay, now let us talk about what is the disadvantage of this one style. What is the disadvantage of this particular styling method is, when I want the styling to be applied, okay, let us take the example. Now we'll talk about. Now let us say that this is one paragraph tag we are going to use it. Another paragraph you are using, like the different paragraph, three different paragraphs are there in my page now. Okay, I'll just go there. Yeah. So I'm using three different paragraphs there. Okay. Whenever I want the style to be applied, I have the advantages, but I can apply the color for this one, for this paragraph I can apply, for this paragraph I can apply. No, let us say that I don't want to have like this. Now, alternate I'm having it, right? You're able to understand. So what is the disadvantage for me when I'm going to have my, so inline for me? So when I talk about my inline, so what is it? We have advantages, we have the disadvantage. What is an advantage for me is, so advantage I can have, okay, different styles. Okay, sorry, different styles can be applied for different lines. Okay, for every line I can have a different style. But what is the disadvantage for me? The disadvantage is if I want to apply, okay, same, right, same style I want to apply. Okay, I want to apply same style to all the paragraphs. You would understand what I'm telling? So we have one disadvantage. What is the disadvantage? If I want to apply for all the paragraphs, whatever I'm having it, okay. So I want to apply, right, for all the paragraphs. Then what happens? I mean, I need to write for each and every paragraph. I need to write that. You would understand what I'm telling? See, I will go back to our code now. Now here what I'm having, this is one is there. Okay, for this I'm applying the Tahoma font, all that. So the second one also I want to apply the same thing. So what I need to do, here I'm copying and pasting it. Then for this one also I need to write the same. Able to understand the disadvantage now. So I want to apply for a Huddle Rise, Marthahalli, Bangalore, all the three, okay, or maybe 100 paragraphs are there for me in my page. So when I'm applying, when I'm using it for 100 paragraphs, I'm using it for all the 100 paragraphs. I need to write everywhere. I need to write what is my style code. Okay, the code has to be written. Now instead of this method, what I no, able to understand, right? Now the disadvantage. So the disadvantage is what I need to write the code. Okay, the style sheets has to be defined each and every place you want to have it. So that is the disadvantage for me. Okay, this is my disadvantage. Then how do I overcome it? I can overcome this one. The disadvantages you can overcome. We can overcome that. So we can overcome the problem by defining a internal style sheet. Okay, we can we can overcome that problem using an internal style sheet. Now what is that internal style sheet? Now what are you going to talk about? Now let's talk about this one, second one. So what do you call the internal style sheets, right? You able to understand why I'm going to use the internal style sheet? When I'm going to use this internal style sheets, so what happens is when you talk about your HTML page, we know that our HTML page, this it starts with an HTML page. It we are going to close up with the HTML tag. So in between we have the head section will be there, and then you close the head section. Then we open the body part. Okay. Then so we are going to close the body part. Now what we do is we will be defining the internal style sheets. Will be defining it. To define the internal style sheets, we use a tag called style tag. Then we have the opening tag, and then we have the closing tag is there. So where I'm going to use this one, this the style tag, I'm going to use it in my head section. So able to understand where I'm going to use the style there. I'm defining my style in the head section of my HTML page. Now this is what you call the internal. We'll discuss that. We'll take the example. Now here we said what is the advantage and what is the disadvantage of the this method, what you call the inline. Now I want to change this one, right? You're able to understand, right? What we have done it here. I'll just do one thing. So this is the disadvantage of this method. Now to overcome this one, so what we are doing is we are going to use a slightly different method. So what is the different method we are going to use now? I'll go to my head section. So in the head section, I'll open the style tag. Okay, I'll close that. Now here what I do is I'll be defining the paragraph tag now. I want to apply for all the paragraph tags. I want to apply the same thing. Then what I am doing, how I'm going to talk about this one is I'll define the tag there. Okay. What is the syntax? We'll talk about the syntax part for this. So what is my syntax is, okay. So you're going to give the tag name. What is the name of the tag? Then open the flower braces. There you define the styling now. So how we are going to define the styling? So we define the property colon value. You are going to define it, right? Semicolon. If you have multiple properties are there, so I'll just use a shortcut there, P2 colon V2 like that, semicolon, right? So this is what we are going to do with. We are going to use a tag name followed with open the flower braces. You define the property followed with the colon and then you give the value for that, right? Let's see this. Okay. So how I'm going to do it? I want to apply it. Now what we did here, so we have taken it for 3 different paragraph tags. We have taken it and then we have applied separate tag. We have applied the colors there. No, I don't want to do that method. Then what I'm doing, I'm using the paragraph tag I'm writing, then followed with flower brace, I'm opening it. Then what is the value that I want to change? I want to change the value called a color. I'll say color colon red I am giving semicolon. I want to have the font phase. Okay. So font, right? So family also I'll define it. So font family I want to define. What is the family that I want to have it? Now let us say, okay, we'll have a font called Tahoma. I'll use. Okay, I'll use a font called Tahoma. I'm using it, right? Then, so here what I'm doing, I'll not use anything. The paragraph tags all I'll not use. I'll remove this styling part here. So what I'm doing is I'm simply writing the simple tag I'm writing called the paragraph tag I'm writing. The other styling I'm not doing it. I have removed all the style part. I'll save this. I'll go back to my output, then refresh. Now you see all are going to apply. Now wherever I'm using the paragraph tag, so for all these tags, it's going to apply the same color. Now let us say I don't want to get the red color. I want to give some other color. I want to have it. Okay. Let us say that you're going to give the color like. Okay. Let's me talk about a color called a cyan there. So save it. Alt tab and then a refresh. Now you can see the cyan color is going to be displayed there. Okay. Or you want some other color. So let us say I want to have the colors like a green, yellow. You want to have it, right? Okay. So we have the color there. Save it. Let's get back. Refresh. Now you see the color is going to be there. Any color you can define it. No issues there. Whatever the color name you remember, try to use that color. If it is there, we can well and good it is. So we call these are called the named colors. Either you can use the named colors or we can use the hexadecimal values for the colors. We'll discuss how to use the hexadecimal values and all, how to use them. Okay. So that we'll discuss. Already we have discussed it as a part of the HTML. Okay. Let me touch upon one line. I'll just tell you how to define the color codes. So when I'm going to talk about the color codes, we'll be using the hash symbol. So then followed with the hash symbol, you need to tell the hexadecimal value you can use. Like the first value is going to be the red color, the second value is going to be green, and the third value is going to be the blue color, RGB we call it. It's called the RGB combination you need to give it. So for example, if I'm giving a color called, okay, let's say 20 FF I'm using, and then I'm using some other color, okay, let's say 12 I'm giving. So this is the color what I have done there. So based upon the color combinations what you're going to give, you get the different colors you'll be getting it. Okay. So we'll discuss this, how the color combination differs and all that we'll discuss, right? Okay. If I'm using all the three values to the minimum, that is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, I'm using, that's going to be my black color. Okay, it's going to be pure black. That depends upon, so which colors you want to use it and all that. Based on that, so we'll get the different combinations, we'll be getting it. Okay. Yeah, we'll discuss this. We'll get back to this one again. Already I explained that. So anyhow, we'll have it again in the backup class. We'll talk about this part, right? Okay. So able to understand what is an advantage of using the internal style sheets. Now this, the way of writing this style sheet, it's called the internal style sheet. That means I'm defining it once, okay, and then wherever I'm writing that particular tag I'm writing, you see that in all those places, this tag, I mean, these properties, whatever you have done and whatever the changes you have made it, okay. So this styling is going to be applied for this tag, and here also it's going to apply for me. Okay, understood? Understood here, right? Okay. So this is what the advantage. So we talked about this disadvantage. So when I wanted to apply for all the paragraphs wherever I'm using it, then I need to write everywhere. I need to write this. So how do we overcome this? We can overcome this by defining an internal style sheet. We can define it. So how do we define the internal style sheets? Then when you talk about the internal style sheets, we'll be using what? The styling will be doing it in the head section of your HTML document. So go to the head section. In the head section, we can have the style attribute is going to be the, sorry, we have a tag called the style tag, and then we have the opening and closing tag, both are there. So inside this opening and the closing style tag, then, so what is the syntax that we follow for the internal styling is tag name, then followed with the star symbol, following with the flower braces, then you're going to give the what is the name of the property that you want to change, and what is the value for that particular property, you need to define it. If I'm having multiple properties are to be defined, so it's better you put a semicolon after this one, right? This is the syntax what you have. So example, just I'm writing it. This is an example I'm talking about. I'm writing all these things. Okay. I'll just copy down the example here. Yeah, right. So this is how we are going to do it. So what is an advantage for me? The advantage is I need not to write the color code and all that for every line, that as we have done in the previous one. So when you talk about this one, what you call the inline, when you talk about, so when I want to have the colors to be applied, so I'm writing it here one color, again I'm writing it, again I'm writing like this. If I'm using some 100 times or 2000 times or whatever may be the number of times I'm using the paragraph tag, each and every place I want to have that one, then it is not advised for us to have the inline. Then comes the question, when do we use this inline, or what you call embedded? So specifically want to change, like for example, the whole page is going to be red color. At one particular part, you want to have a different color, you want to have it. Then, so what you can do, you can have the application can be used. Okay. Now I want to apply only this Marthahalli, I want to have a different way of doing it. So then what I'm doing, so for Marthahalli only, you give style is equal to. So I'll take the only example, it's called a color, I'm taking it. So I'll say color is okay, and then let me use a color called gold there, right? I'm just giving it as gold. Save it, then refresh it. Now you see that Martha Halli alone is going to apply it. Understood now? We use this inline styling, we'll be using it. So where you want to have specifically you want to change for one particular tag, you want to change it, then it's always we prefer to use the inline styling, is going to be preferred for us. Generally, otherwise, we want the same colors to be applied for all the multiple places. Then we use this method. We follow one such method is this method. Okay, we use the style options there. Okay, we also have another method is going to be there. Now, for example, let us say I'm using okay 3 or 4 lines, or what maybe the number of lines are there of my web page. Okay, and one place, okay, let us say here I want to apply the gold color, again here I want to apply the gold color, like that multiple lines are there. So where I want to apply it, the colors. Okay, let me explain you one sec. No, let us say that I'm having colors are there. Okay, let's say which is there on top. Now there Marthahali is there, their own color is going to be there. Again Marthahali is there, again I want to apply the color. Now wherever I'm using this Marthahali, okay, there I want to have this color to be applied. Now instead of writing this method, we also have one alternate method is going to be there for me in case of your internal styling. So in internal styling, we also have something different is going to be there. What is that we'll discuss. So we have what you call the class definitions. So we define the pseudo class. Okay, classes we define. We define a class. Okay, we'll define a class and use that class. Okay, wherever you want it. Okay, wherever we want. What is that we are talking about? For example, I'll define something like a class there. So how do I define the class is I'll be using the dot operator. Dot. Okay, let us say that I want to have something like a color name. I want to have an option what you call pleasant. Okay, or let us say I want defining a class called good. Then I'm writing there. So what is that color? Okay, color is red. Okay, I'm defining the font size from font hyphen size. Sorry, hyphen size I'm defining it. So font size I'm giving. Okay, let us say it's a 15 px I'm writing it. Okay, like this. Now this is called a style. I mean, one type of class definition. We'll go back to that. How we do it. Let's see this. Okay, now I'll use dot. Okay, good there. So what I'm doing, I'm writing it's a color is okay. Some other color I'll take orange. Then I want to write the font hyphen size. I'll call it. So font size, I'll write 15px I'm writing. Okay. Now this one I want to use, that good I want to apply. So wherever I'm using Martha Hurley, there I want to apply it. So for this, what I do is I'll be writing P, the class, sorry. So class is equal to, I'll write it as good there. Okay. So now let us say this Martha Hurley, I want to apply the same. Now what I'm doing here, now I'll define this one also. I'll define class is equal to good I'm writing. I'll save this, go back to the browser, I refresh my page. Now you see that slightly bigger font. Okay, I want to have still little more bigger, I want to have it. So I'll just do one thing, I'll make 25px, I'll make, save as, refresh. Now you see that it's slightly bigger for me, the font. Now wherever I want this style, that the color should be for me, the golden color I want to have it, and I want to have the size is going to be 15px, I want to have it. So for that, what I'm doing, instead of writing it again, okay, what I'm doing is I'm just writing class is equal to good I'm writing. So when I say class is equal to good, so there it's going to apply. Okay, for example, for this Bangalore also I want to apply it. I'll say class is equal to good I'm writing. Okay, or let us say you're typing something else. Okay, one more paragraph. Okay, right, so you say fruits. Okay, I'm writing fruits list. So the heading I want to have it. So I'll say class is equal to, okay, head I'm writing, or heading I call it. Now I want to have one more class to be defined called heading there. So okay, so that I can apply it for this, like some headings I want to apply. For example, so instead of having it's called good there, so I'm applying heading. So dot heading I'm writing. Then so it is, so let us say we want to have the color is red color, and then so the heading I want to have it as 30px, right? And then so I want to have slightly different option I want to have for it. So what you call the letter spacing, you call it as. Okay, we have an option called letter spacing. So what is the use of this letter spacing attribute? Means this attribute called letter spacing, it will increase the space between one character and the another character. For example, here if you look in there, so okay, I'm not having a space, okay, between these two characters. When you look into all these things, there is no space in the character between the characters. Now I want to increase the spacing there. So letter spacing we call it as. That is, I want to improve the space, increase the space between one character and the another character. So I'll say 3px, I'll write. Okay, so when I say 3px, I'll save it. Then I think we are not used, we are used that. Yeah, we are given a fruit list, and then So I'm giving class is equal to heading there. I'll save this, come back, refresh now. See, now the fruit list is there, right? You see what? So there is a spacing is being increased. So the character, the space between one character and the another character has been increased for me. Now, like this, I want to have it. Okay, fruit list, I want to have it. Okay. So this fruit list, what I do is, uh, okay. So what I do is, I want to have an OL. I want to order list. I want to have it. So OL I'm using. Now this LI I'm using it. LI stands for the list index for me. Okay, list index. So I'm writing class is equal to heading. I'm writing. Now inside this, I'm writing the fruits list. Okay. Sorry. I'll use the paragraph, and then inside this, I'll open the list. So fruit list, I want to have it. Sorry. So that is my heading. So first one I want to have, let us say mango. So I want one more to be there for me. Then, so I want to use orange. Writing banana. Save it. So right, then the refresh. Now you can see fruit list. So 1, 2, 3, it's going to create for me. Right. So this is what, if we are going to have a different style, we are going to apply it. What you call the line letter spacing I applied. So that it's going to give me the letter spacing there like that. So one more I want to have the fruit list. Okay. So that's my fruit list. Okay. And now let us say that this I want to have, let us say some vehicle list. Okay. So I want to have some vehicles. So for this also I want to have it again. So then what I do is I'll say the class is equal to heading. Right. Then, okay, I'll give the list. So it's going to be my list index. Now let us say that you're going to write it as hero. Okay. So it's a Honda. I mean, company is there, vehicle company list. I'll refresh. So you see the fruit list there. Now you see the vehicle list like that. So able to understand what I'm telling here. So wherever I want the heading to be applied, the heading like style I want to have it, then I can do it. So the advantage is, but let us say in future, I decided no, I don't want such a big size. I don't want the font. I want to decrease the size. Now what I do, I'll go to one place, and now here I'm having it about 30 space. I mean 30 is my font size. I want to make it 20. I'll just give it 20 there. I'll save it. Now I'll just refresh my page. Now you see that it's going to give me 20. Font size is going to decrease from as 20, right? So able to understand now what we did. So what we did is, so we said, so there are different ways of applying the style sheets. So what are the different ways of applying the style sheets? Okay, one method is what you call the inline styling. So when you say inline styling, it means I'm applying the styles. Style is nothing but you want to change the color, or you want to change the font, or you want to have the font spacing, or what you call the line spacing, you want to have it. So those things are what you call the styles, they are called. Okay. Now, if I want to apply a different styling, I want to apply for my paragraph or any tag that you want to have it. So you want to apply it. Then what you do is you call this tag. Along with the tag, we have an attribute called style attribute is going to be there. So I'm using paragraph tag. Style is equal to, okay, what is the property which you want to change now? So I want to change the color of this particular paragraph tag. So now what you do is color colon red. I am using it. So when I say color colon red, then what will happen? This information what is going to be displayed called hello rice. This will be displayed in the red color for me. Now, okay, like this, I want to apply for multiple places. Now, I told you one example. This one only. I'm just revising it. Hello rice. Okay, Martha Haldi. Okay, Bangalore. So this I want to print it. For all the three, I want to get the same options: red color, font families, font Oklahoma, like that. Then what I need to do, I need to define it all the three different tags I'm using it. Each and every place you need to define this, right? Now, instead of in case if you are using some thousands of lines of code, you are using it for your web page, then what happens? Every place I'm supposed to write that. No, I don't want that one to happen. Okay, I want to control over it. I want to have a control. This method is what, it's a laborious process. I need to do it so many times. I have to do it. Then what is an alternate for this? We have an alternate which we call it as the internal styling. Okay, so this problem can be overcome by using what you call this concept of the internal styling. So how we're going to do the internal styling means, so internal styling, so we are going to use the syntax for the internal styling. First you'll write the tag name, what is the name of the tag, then open the flower brace, and then what are the properties you want to change. Okay, you'll be writing one by one property. Either you can put it in the same line or you can put it in a next line. So why we are going to put it in the next line means only for the readability of, so it will be it will have the better readability will be there. Okay, so you'll have the better understanding, everything it's going to be there. So only what, it's going to enhance the readability of your application is going to be enhanced for me, right? Okay, so example, now let us say what I'm doing is I'm going to the head section, and then I'm writing my style, then tag I'm writing it, I'm writing the options, what are the options I want to change. Then I'll close the style tag. Then so wherever I'm going to use my paragraph tag, I'm going to use it. Then what happens, it's going to apply the style what we have selected, applied it for one tag, so it is going to apply for all the places wherever you are using the paragraph tag. Okay, now in case if I want to change in one particular place, right, if you want to change for a tag, okay, then what you can do, so then it can be applied, you can do it. Okay, then we can change, right, we can change. Now how to change that, what you can do, you can use it, inline styling can be used. We can change using the inline styling. Understood what I'm telling? So we can make use of the inline styling and we can do the changing. So how we can do the inline styling? So that means we have seen that. So paragraph tag style is equal to, okay, then some changes, whatever you want to have it, you do it all the changes, you define it. Okay, you can do this internal styling. But if I want to apply this style, what I'm having it, this I want to apply it for multiple locations. Okay, so if we want to apply, okay, apply the style, the same style I'm talking about, if I want to apply the same style in more than one location, okay, more than one location or more than one tag, or what do we call, either you call it as a location or what you call it another tag, whatever it is, then what you can do, so we have this solution for this one. So then what is the solution, we define a class and use that class wherever you want it, that is the class is nothing but the style. So for example, let us say that I'm writing like this, okay, good, okay, the class name I defined it as a, what you call, good. So to define the class name, you're going to use dot followed with the class name you're writing it, right? So what is the syntax for this one? It is the syntax is, so dot class name, okay, then open the flower brace, then you define the properties whatever you want it. So example, so what I'm doing is I'm applying good, okay, dot good color red equal to others. Okay, or now let us say that I want to have some what do you call, like heading or something, we took one example called heading, or let us say that you want to have some other styling has to be, whatever maybe you want to have it, you can use your own names can be used and you can define that one and get there. So we have seen the example there, so here we have seen the example. I'll just copy this example here, I'll place it here. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I'm using the combination of the internal styling and as well as I'm applying the inline styling. So inline styling here I'm going to use the classes I'm going to use, right? Okay, so when you talk about this one, like what do you call the classes, we can not only have the classes, we can also have what you call, we can also have what you call IDs. We can have it. We can also have the IDs. So IDs can be defined and we can also use them. So that is IDs are the alternates for the classes. Okay, IDs we can use it. So how to use this IDs? So you'll be using hash followed with the flower braces. Okay, and that is a name you're going to define. So you're going to define the ID name hash, and then you define the whatever the attributes that you want to change or what you call the properties you want to change, you define it. So example, so how we are going to do it, I'll write hash, and then okay, let us say that I'm writing, okay, it's called primary. Okay, and then I'm writing it as a button there, primary hyphen button, I'm writing it. Then so when you talk about the primary button like this, so what I want to do is I want to have the color has to be changed. Okay, what is the color that I want to have? So I want to have the color is okay, let's say it's a blue color, I want to have it, right? And then so I want to have my background. So oh, 1 second, text background. Okay, we'll take the letter spacing, we'll take, so letter spacing. So I want to, okay, letter spacing I want to have it. So letter spacing I'm just giving it as okay, some 3px I'm writing like this. Okay, primary color like this I have done it. So let's see what is going to be, how we are going to do this. So what we call the IDs, how to use the IDs. So when I'm going to use the IDs, so for the classes we are going to use the symbol called dot there, but when you talk about the IDs, we'll be using a symbol called hash. Then when I'm going to use that one, so what we will be doing, so here instead of writing its class equal to, we'll write ID is equal to, we'll be writing it. Okay, so I'm writing it as ID equal to, we'll be writing. So for defining the IDs, you'll use the hash symbol. So you can see that it's the same effect is going to be there. Understood? So when I want to have the ID like thing, then I'm going to define it. So let us say I want to have one more, what we are discussing it, I've taken the example. So I want to have an ID called primary, okay, button I'm refining. Then in this one, so I want to have the color. So color I'll refine it as blue. Okay, then so I want to have the background color I want to have it. So what is the background color I want to have? Let's say I want to have a background color called golden red, I'll take, and then I'll use the line spacing also I want to apply. So line, sorry, not the line spacing, sorry, letter spacing I want to have this. Okay, letter spacing I want to have 3px I want to have. Then I want to make the characters to be bold for me, looking bold for me. So what we call font weight, we call it as font weight. Okay, so I want to have, it's a bold, right? I'm giving the font weight is equal to bold, I'm writing bold, I'm writing. So I'll say this. Then okay, let us say at the bottom you want to have a button there, or anything, whatever you want to have a button or paragraph you want to have it. So then so I'm writing, sorry, the ID is equal to, so I'm writing primary hyphen button. Okay, some name, whatever the name that you are defined it, that you need to define there. Okay, I'm just writing apple. Or let us say that you want to apply for a button also, so you can also apply it for the button. So I'm writing button. Okay, so I'm writing class is equal to, so primary button, then close it and give the message. Okay, so click me, I'll just save this, I'll just refresh the page. Now you can see it's going to be apple is there. So here it is going to be click me now. So you can see the color. Why it's not applied for the button? Okay, sorry, we gave it as class there. Sorry, it is not the class, it is ID. So ID is equal to primary. Now you can see now it's going to be what, the blue color, and then it's going to be the background is going to be golden yellow for me like this, right? Okay. So able to understand what I'm doing it. This we can apply it wherever you want it. Any font, I mean any tag that you want, you can apply it. For example, I want to apply for the H1 tag, I want to apply it. So H1 also I can apply it. Okay, let us say, so I'll just give CSS, save, right? I'm just refreshing it. You can see CSS is there. Then I want to apply that style, I want to apply it. Then I'll say ID is equal to primary button. Just save it and then refresh. Now you can see that is also applied for that, right? So this is how we can define what you call the style sheets can be defined. So for different tags, we can have the different style sheets can be applied. It depends upon your requirement. So what you want to have it and how you want to use it. So these will help me to save a lot of time can be saved in. Okay, like you define your own styling can be defined and you want to define that style, you can do it. And very important thing that you need to remember here is, now let us say that I don't want to apply for okay, let us say the same kind of styling I want to apply for multiple tags I want to apply. So if you want to apply the style for multiple tags, right, to apply the, the same style for multiple tags you want to apply, okay, for multiple tags I want to apply for multiple tags, then we use symbol called star. So what is this star means? Star is called the universal. It's called the universal tag. Okay, star is called the universal tag. Okay, I can use the star and I can start writing it. So once I'm using star and applying, I'm using it, for it will be applicable for all the tags, whatever the tag you're using, H1 tag you're using, or you're using a button you're using, or you're using an input tag, or you may be using a paragraph tag, or you're using a list tag. For all that, if you want to apply, then it's a common one, will be using what you call star. Star followed with the tag name that will how we do it, star. So then open the flower brace and then you can define it whatever you want it. So you want to have the background colors or whatever you want to have it, you can all define this, right? So this star is called the universal tag, it is called. It will be applicable for all the tags. Okay, if you want for a specific tag to be applied, then what you do with, we'll be using tag name as we did here. So for a specific tag you want to have it, this will be using like this. And if you want to know, I don't want to use it for a specific tag, I don't want to wait, okay, I want to have a different styling for at specific locations only I want to have it, or for the specific tags I want to have it, then what you do is you define a class name. Okay, that is, you use the dot symbol and you define the class and you can do it. Or is what we can do, so I don't want to use the classes, I don't want to use it, then I want to use the IDs, I want to use it, then we can also use the IDs for defining the IDs. So you'll be using it as hash followed with the specifications whatever you want. First you need to specify the ID name and then open the flower brace and then you can specify it, and then so you can apply this. Okay, so example, I'll just copy this. Yeah, I'll just paste it here, right? Okay, so any questions over here? I'll do one thing.